Hi, welcome to episode 182. My name is Laura, and I'm also known as Fluffy K on Ravelry, Fluffy Kira on Twitter and Instagram. I blog over at thecornerofknitandtea.com, which is where this episode and every episode show notes will be. I have an Etsy shop where I sell my handspun yarns called The Corner of Knit and Tea. And of course we have a Ravelry group called The Corner of Knit and Tea. And if you haven't come over and joined us, you really should. Hi, how are you? I realized I forgot to even say the title, so welcome to episode 182 of The Corner of Knit and Tea, my little podcast on the internet. I hope you guys are doing well. It is Sunday, May 13th. A very happy Mother's Day to all who are celebrating. I will be calling my mom soon. It is about 10 a.m. here, which means it's 8 a.m. in California, so I thought I would let her sleep in just a bit. And my mother-in-law is with us for the weekend, so we're going to take her out to eat later. So that is what's going on here. It has been 2 weeks since I've seen you, and it has been a couple weeks. The first thing that happened is the week before I left for the pen show, I did something to my back. I don't know what I did or how I did it, but I was super uncomfortable. So the week before I left for Chicago, I did almost nothing. Most nights I came home from work and laid on the floor on a heating pad. Whatever I did was in my hip, and so it was uncomfortable to sit, but it was kind of okay to stand and to lay down. So I got no knitting and spinning done that week, and it was very, very depressing. Right before we left for Chicago on Wednesday morning, so Tuesday night, I went to see my husband's chiropractor. It was my first chiropractic visit ever, and so it was kind of magical. He did help quite a bit, although the next day I got in the car with a friend and we drove to Chicago for 10 hours. So that was not super comfortable. In Chicago, we attended the Chicago Pen Show, which was actually not in Chicago. It was outside in Hoffman Estates, which is out by Schaumburg. We were in the hotel Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We set up the booth on Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday I sold pen and ink all weekend for the Van Ness Pen Shop, which is a wonderful pen shop, family owned out of Little Rock, Arkansas. If you are ever in the area, you should definitely check it out. I acquired a couple pens even though I was working in the booth the whole time. Actually, I should say I acquired one pen and one pen was given to me because Saturday, May 5th was my 40th birthday. So I am now into a new decade and what we used to refer to as over the hill, but I guess 40 is the new 30. Like I said, I celebrated by going to the chiropractor. But otherwise, I feel pretty good. So we were in Chicago. We drove home Monday, went back to work Tuesday. The week was complete whirlwind because I had tech editing and work and knitting and all kinds of things to do. And it was kind of a crazy busy week. Tuesday, I was so tired. I had no idea what was going on. But it got better through the week. And actually, by Thursday or Friday, my hip was feeling much better. And I was pretty much ready to go. My mother-in-law has been with us all weekend. Yesterday, Wes ran a half marathon in the morning, and then we went and got some food and kind of hung out in the afternoon, and I was able to knit all afternoon. I finished a project that I'll be able to show you in just a minute. And I have been playing with pens and ink and working on some blog tutorial posts for this week. I have been writing some tutorials for some other blogs through a marketing company. So nothing that you necessarily would have seen, but I have been working on pens and ink and tutorial posts and all kinds of things. I've been keeping busy on the weekends for several months now. And so that is kind of what's going on here. Like I said, it has been a crazy busy couple weeks, a lot of fun. Next weekend, we are going back to Chicago because my husband is running another half marathon, and we are going to see my sister and her husband, and then of course Roxy and Miles, my niece and nephew. And then we're going to do my birthday present with my husband. We got tickets to see Hamilton, which I am over the moon about. I've wanted to see it forever, and we had already planned the trip to Chicago both to see the kids and so Wes could run the marathon. And he said, well, we're there, why don't you pick up some tickets and we'll do that for your 40th. So I'm having kind of an extended birthday over a couple weeks, but it is super fun. I will podcast next weekend. I am just not sure exactly when. I'm planning to take the camera with me and do some filming while I'm in Chicago. And when I post will depend on the internet. I think I am going to bring my laptop, so I should be able to post from there, but barring that, I will post Monday night, Tuesday morning when we get home. So keep an eye out for it. There will be one, but it will be delayed probably a little bit. So I hope that you have had a wonderful 2 weeks. I feel like I've been away forever, and I simultaneously feel like I have a lot to show you and nothing to show you. So let's dig in. Today's tea is called Yogi Tea. It is from the Tea Emporium, which I like. I placed an order with them. Ooh, it's at least a year ago now, but I placed an order for a variety of things. Yogi Tea is an herbal blend containing citrus peel, chamomile, orange blossoms, lemongrass, spearmint, hibiscus, and rosehip. So you can see at the top the little logo. It is the teaemporium.com. I got several other blends and was pleased with them. And I just went rooting around in my tea box for something I hadn't had in a while. This lovely mug was a gift from a friend for house sitting years ago, and it is one of those handle mugs where you put your hand in the handle, and I am of mixed feelings about these. I do really, really like them, but when the tea is super hot at the beginning, it is too hot for me to put my hand in. So I usually like it when the tea cools just a smidge. And that is really, really lovely. I get the citrus. I also get some of the lemongrass in there and a little taste of the spearmint. So I love herbal blends. I need usually something a little stronger earlier in the day, but I do love herbal blends. So this one is great. So let's talk about what I finished. I'm so excited. The first thing that I finished was my Northbound Knit Along shawl. I was trying to finish this one up for finish in February, my whip along, and I did not quite make it, but I did finish it on my trip. This is the banana leaf shawl. As you can see, it's kind of a loosely textured wrap. I guess it's a scarf technically. All the ends are woven in. I think I still need to trim them after blocking, so if you see ends, that's what they're doing there. It is a long rectangular with points, and then as you can see, there's some ribbing and stockinette. It's kind of a little bit hard to see. It's easier to see in person, but the variegated kind of makes it, but you can kind of sort of see it. Anyway, this is in Northbound Knitting, her BFL silk lace, and it is in the colorway Metallurgy, so it's this great kind of silver, bronze, everything, and it is super soft, and it blocked out to a slightly longer length. It's not exactly as long as I would want it. I'd rather wrap it around my neck twice, but it is fine, and it used up all but a little bit. I actually started to work towards the ending, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna have yarn left over. So I went back and I did one more half pattern repeat, and then I finished it. And when I finished it, I could not have gone any further. So, I mean, it wasn't really a serious game of yarn chicken, because I probably had maybe 5 grams, 6 grams left. So I had plenty left because it was lace weight, but I would not have had enough to do a whole nother repeat. So I timed that right. And then I came home and blocked it this week. So that is, I am so pleased to have that done. And of course now it's summer, so I don't know if I'll wear it. Of course I might wear a scarf indoors in the summer in the air conditioning, so we'll see about that. But I am so pleased to have that done, even if I didn't quite make my April deadline. I think I finished it on, either finished it the night before my birthday or on my birthday, so 4th or 5th, so I didn't miss it by much, and it is complete, and that is a skein out of the stash, and I am so thrilled to have it done, because I am thrilled to wear it. It may go in the drawer until the fall, but so that is number 1 done. That is Banana Leaf by Yuki Ueda. It calls for 900 yards. I had 875 and squeaked by. I think it called for Malabrigo lace weight, but I used, like I said, the BFL silk lace weight, and I used the needles it called for. I cannot remember. I think that was a 5. It might have been a 4, it might have been a 6. I don't know. It's all on my project page, so if you're interested, go check it out. I think I called it Metallic Leaf because of the yarn, and I love the the yarn so much. Look at how, oh, actually there you can also see the texture in there, but look at how beautiful that is with all those metallic colors. Anyway, so that is done. The second thing that I finished, and this was yesterday, I had hoped to finish it before I left, and because I could not sit still and knit before I left, I did not. I went away with 1 square remaining on my mom's blanket, and I came home and finished that, and then in the last 2 days, I went ahead and did the applied I-cord edging. So mom's blanket is done. I haven't decided, I haven't finished it yet because I haven't, and when I say finished, I mean like washed finished, because I probably need to wash it in the bathtub and then lay it out. I actually don't want to run it through the washer dryer. So even though they're all washable, I prefer to just hand wash things, and I just need a big space to wash it and lay it out. And of course with the in-laws here this weekend, I don't have that because usually that's the guest bedroom. Anyway, so that is what I have going on here. Oop, I forgot 2 ends. I was gonna say all the ends are woven in, and then I flipped it over and there are 2 ends hanging right there. So I will have to finish those. Otherwise, it is finished. I did not paint myself out to be a liar. So it is 121 squares. Again, this is the Memory Blanket by Georgie Hallam. It is the same one that I did for myself. I either held fingering doubled or used worsted weight singled. This is primarily from my stash, although I will say that I had lots of help from lovely viewers and friends who sent me things. Thank you so much, because I would not have made it through without your help. And this is mom's blanket, and then I did just a simple, I held the yarn doubled so that it would echo the rest of the blanket, and I used a fingering weight in, let's see if I can get you a better, in a kind of a purple. It was a semi-solid, like kettle dyed, so it's, I guess I should just say shaded. It's kettle dyed. It's not really a semi-solid, but it is a little shaded in there. Anyway, and I held that doubled and then did a 3-stitch I-cord border all the way around the outside. I find that it gives it a nice unifying finish, and the dark, purple's not really a neutral, but the dark color kind of ties the whole blanket together because it is a little bit wild and crazy. I made this one for my mom after she saw the one I did for myself, which is right behind me, and said, "Ooh, I love that. Can I have one?" She originally suggested that I could give it to them for their anniversary, which is the end of June, but since it is done, I am probably going to send it anyway, even though it's the summer and they won't use it now, just because now that it's done, I am dying to give it to her, and she has been checking in on the podcast occasionally to see the progress on her blanket, so if she watches this episode, she will know that it is done and just about ready to go to her. So I am gonna weave in those 2 ends that I didn't realize were there, wash it, block it, and then get it ready to go for her. Oops, looks like I did something there. Oh well, it will be the Persian flaw. So that is mom's blanket done and basically ready to go. So that was a huge project. I haven't done all the calculations, but the last time I did a blanket project like this, I want to say I counted it as, I sort of track my yardage during the year, in and out, what I buy and what I use. And I want to say this, the last time, this was like a 3,000 yard project because I was holding so much stuff doubled. So I didn't knit the 3,000, it was more like 1,500, but yeah, I cannot wait, and I'll do the math on this one and get all these details up on my project page, and this one's done, which means I can go back to my blanket for myself. I've been working on a crochet ripple afghan for myself for forever, and every time I stop to do another blanket project, mine waits in the wings, so maybe I'll start back on that now. So that is 2 finished. The one thing that I did not touch was, I told you I was taking my cherry blossom socks with me to try and get that second darn sock knit. I don't know why I haven't been doing it. I've just been doing other things. So I'm definitely taking it with me on the train this weekend, because we are taking the train up and back to Chicago, and I really, really want to get that sucker cranked out because I'd like to start a new pair of socks. It is almost time for summer of socks. It is also time for Stash Dash, and I predict that my Stash Dash will be lower this year because I have not, because I just finished these 2 big projects. I probably should have saved them, but I wanted them done and off the needles. I predict my stash will be a little bit lower this year because I don't have any big projects waiting in the wings for completion, and I don't know how my spending is going to go. I'll talk about that when I'm done with knitting, but I still have a few things to talk about for knitting. So I took, when I went to Chicago this past weekend, I took the banana leaf with me, which I finished, and then I took that pair of socks, which I did not get to, but when I finished banana leaf, I allowed myself to cast on something new. Technically, I was doing 2 out, 1 new, sort of, but not really, but yeah. Okay, so I allowed myself to cast on something new. I had showed you this last time. It is a shawl by Casapinka. And it is called Albuquerque Sunset, and it is kind of a textured color work, and I was using a dark purple and then a crazy gradient that I had dyed, and as you can see, I've gotten fairly far through it, and I am moving through the gradient. As you can see, there was more purple up here, along with the purple, and now I am into pink, and I'm getting towards the red. You can kind of see the red in there, and then it is going to go into, I can show you on the other ball, some orange and yellow, and then I will go back out. So I am almost done with section 2. So this shawl is all about interplay of colors. There was a brief section where I started with my main color, and it was by itself, and it's got some textured stitches, and that's all I'm going to say because I don't want to give away too much. And then you have the interplay between your main color and your contrast color, which of course, if I were doing different colors or variegated, it would look a little different, but it's a little bit of a gradient. And I am almost like just a couple rows away from being done with this section. And then the next section, it is going to alternate where the background color becomes the contrast color and the main color becomes kind of the textured details in there. So basically it's just going to repeat again for that, and then I don't remember what it does. Then there's a 4th section, and then there's a lace section. So, and I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to do all these things because I think the final lace section is actually meant to be done in the contrast color, and I think I haven't decided if the gradient will show that off nicely enough or not. So I'm just going to have to wait and see. And I have plenty of yarn because, so I have these 2 balls, and then I have the second half of this was a double sock blank from Knit Picks. It was knit together 2 strands so that you could basically knit identical socks. So this one is the identical to the one I'm already using, and I'm just going to push it out the other way. So I'm going to go all the way to yellow, and then I'm going to take yellow and go all the way back out to purple. And then actually I have, I think this is about 40 grams, 30 or 40 grams. This is the second skein of this colorway that I had already used in something else. So I have a little bit extra, so we will see. I'll probably mostly follow the pattern just because I don't want to run out of yardage, but that is what I'm doing, and I'm loving it. And this one will also go to Chicago with me this weekend because it's fun. And I predict that Roxy is going to fall in love with this one, and it may end up going to live with her. I don't know. I have to see how big the shawl comes out because I don't want to send her an enormous shawl that's going to drag on the ground, but it totally is her colors, and I know she'll love it. So we'll see. And I'm hoping maybe she'll want to knit on it with me a little bit, so we'll see. So that is the new project. Like I said, I want to cast off those socks and get those done. Of course, I want to cast on another pair of socks. And for the most part, my needles they're not really empty, but I want to start something else. So I'm going to start something else. I have it in this ginormous project bag. This is the Knit and Stitch Bits, the like Afghan sweater size bag. And I'm only going to show this to you once. This is going to be secret knitting because it is for someone that watches the podcast. And so I just don't want to share too much of it. So I'll be working on this in the background quite a bit, and I am going to try and keep a couple other projects going so that the next month or so in podcast land isn't terribly boring, but I know that I will be working on this behind the scenes, and I will take lots of photos, and as soon as it is gifted to the person, which I will do probably right away as soon as I finish it, I will share it with you. So I will say that I am using Craftsy, the Superwash Merino Worsted Twist in the Caribbean colorway, which is this great teal, and it is going to be a sweater. And that is as far as I'm going to go, but know that that is what I will be working on in the background. So I also have a sweater for Miss Roxy to cast on, more winter stuff for them, and then like I said, Summer of Socks is coming, or Sock to Summer is coming. I can't even remember anymore. Socks over the summer, knitting small things when it's warm out. I want to knit the kids some socks. I want to knit the kids some hats and mittens and things, which of course summer is not the best time to do that, but they are small projects, so I thought that would be a good thing. Eventually I want to knit another sweater for myself. I don't even want to talk about how many sweater quantities. I can think of at least 3 off the top of my head. And I'm super interested in that. I know there is going to be a sweater knit along I think there is going to be a sweater knit along early in the fall that I'm going to help lead. If so, I will discuss that. And then of course there's Nanny Swaymo in November. So yes, it is only May 13th and I am planning the rest of my year in knitting. That is who I am, type A person. Let's talk about spinning for a minute. The reason I don't have any with me is because I don't have any to show you. One of the things that has really gotten sacrificed in my not being very comfortable sitting is that I have not touched my spinning wheel in 2 weeks. When we left, I had just finished spinning the first braid. It was the Merino Silk Blend from Fiber Optic in Smoke on the Water. It was like a very, very light aquamarine all the way through a dark smoky blue and gray. I am spinning the 2 gradients end to end so that then when I ply, I have a long gradient for a shawl. So I am now working on basically the way I'm knitting this project, where I'm knitting through the yellow and then picking up the yellow and knitting it out. I am spinning all the way through the smoke gray and then spinning outward from that, and then when I fold it on it, when I wind it into a 2-ply ball and I ply it on itself, I will come out with 1 long gradient. That will be great for a shawl. I don't know if I'll use that for myself or put that up in the shop. I'm tempted to put it up in the shop because I have so many things that I want to knit for myself. I have like 6 or 8 shawls planned for the rest of the year, almost all from Stash. I am trying not to buy a ton of yarn. Most of what I have bought recently has been for other people. I bought that sweater quantity for Roxy. I just bought this sweater quantity for the other sweater that I'm doing. Because I didn't have exactly what I needed or wanted for that. Like I said, I have many sweater quantities for myself, and I have several shawls I have been dying to knit and Stash I've been dying to use up. Also, when I went looking for yarn to cannibalize for Mom's blanket to like take 10 grams off of, I found so much speckle yarn. Apparently, in the last 2 years, I went crazy buying speckle yarn. So I don't need any more speckle yarn for a while. And one of the things I thought about was what I might do with the speckle yarn. And there is a new West Knits by Stephen West, a new shawl that calls for 4 or 5 colorways of speckled yarn. It's loosely, I think, a triangular shawl, but it's got a bunch of short row shaping and stuff, and I cannot remember what it's called, but it is a strong contender. I have also found a few other shawls that I would like to knit, and I have, like I said, I have so many speckles that I would like to put some speckles with some solids and get some stuff going. So, I think that's close to it. On spinning, I'm hoping to pick it back up, although I have already decided that this year is just not going to be as productive as other years. And the one thing I do not know is I will be doing Tour de Fleece. That will be basically the beginning of July. I will be hosting a team. If you would like to participate, we'll do a podcast team, but I'm just not sure what my goals will be because my big goal is to sit and be comfortable. And I'm sort of doing whatever I need to do that, whether that's going to a chiropractor, I'm going to try and start some yoga again, or just taking it easy and not sitting and doing repetitive activities. As much as I miss spinning, I also miss being able to sit and not be in pain. So I'm just going to try and take it easy and see how the next several months go. So I think that was quite the catch-up post. It looks like we're at 24 minutes. I guess it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I hope you've enjoyed seeing some of my finished objects. I am thrilled to have finished things. Now I guess it'll be another month or two. Well, hopefully not. I'm maybe about halfway done with this shawl. Hopefully it won't be too long before I have more finishes to show you and more interesting knits to be working on. I hope that you are enjoying your spring. It has gone from like cool spring weather to summer. Oh my goodness, it's been, I think it's 90 today. So we're kind of moving straight into air conditioning season, which is fine because I'll just sit in it and be plenty happy. But I will stop rambling. I hope I will get to talk to you again soon, next weekend. Remember, it might be a little bit late, but there will be a podcast. And until I see you then, I say happy knitting, happy spinning. I can't even do my own tagline. Let's try this again. Happy knitting, happy spinning, happy sipping, and I'll see you next time. Bye.